All right, welcome to the Fairfield Shellfish Commission special meeting, December 10th, 2025. A call to order. We have a quorum. Present are John Short, Bruce Kiefner, Lizette Enhofer, Cindy Wakeman, Kendra Wingate, and Joe
Krejci.
Joe Krejci. Remember, we'll talk about that in the next meeting. All right, so we're going to have a public discussion of an amended shellfish permit fees. So as we discussed in our last meeting, we wanted to raise our non-resident fee to $50 from $40. We wanted to raise our resident fee from $20 to $25, and our senior fee from $10 to $15. There were no public comments that came in on the email. Does anyone want to discuss a little bit more about this? We have a little bit of time.
I think you might mention sort of what's happened, what the costs are. I mean,
So-
I think we should keep senior rates the same.
Okay. That would be $10.
Yeah.
So the reason we're raising the rates is the price of clams is going up. Even the relays, we're getting them for $2,500. Eventually, that's going to go. Right now, fuel is down, but it will go up. The cost of labor is up, parts, all that stuff. Yes, we do have a good amount of money in our budget, and we seem to cover the clams right now. We've held our town budget the same for a long time, and I don't think we should put any pressure on that. So $15 for senior. We also discussed at the last meeting was that the seniors are probably using the bed a lot more than everyone else, since they have the time, a lot of them. So, anyone else want to talk on that?
I'd also say that at $15, considering if you go to buy clams anywhere, if you buy them at retail, you're probably paying close to $1 a piece, 75 cents if you go to ShopRite or Stop and Shop or something like that. So if you go out and get 24 clams, you've paid for your permit in one go. I mean, I think that in terms of value, at $15 it's a really good value. I mean, if you go out there 3 times and you get 3 dozen clams, even just a dozen at a time, I think that you.
So I'm going to put a question out. You're a senior citizen, right? Senior citizen? Over
Senior citizen,
62?
yeah.
Do you think raising it to $15 would stop you from buying a permit? Will you be apprehensive?
But I do have one question, John, if I may. Would the increase go to the general budget of the town, or does it go directly?
We have a shellfish fund that
Goes directly to the Shellfish Fund, so it would benefit, it goes
Just
directly
benefits us.
towards offsetting the costs you mentioned.
all the clams we buy and everything else we do. So,
When was the last time it was raised?
about 10 years ago.
I mean, normal inflation is, what, 3% a year now?
Well,
Yeah.
Because all our other costs are
So back when we changed it last time, there were 6 or 7 categories. There were categories like if you were a firefighter or a policeman or a town employee or the child of a town, the spouse of a town employee. There were the seniors or the non-resident seniors. There was a lot of different choices, and we simplified it and made non-resident, resident, and resident senior. And at the time, we made it $10. We kept the senior the same at $10, and we raised the resident, I think, to $20, and we did the non-resident $40 because we actually collected cash back then. This is only 10 years ago, but we collected cash at the desk,
Window, yeah.
and it was easier to make change with a
Yeah, posters. I used to buy my
and a 10 versus
posters.
a $15 charge. But now the majority of our sales are online, So we don't worry about making that change anymore, really.
I don't think $5 a year is gonna upset them.
Okay. I think we have to raise it.
Yeah.
$10 is, it doesn't even really cover the cost of selling the permit. I mean, we got the lanyard, we got the card, we print out paper, we use time. It's like, it's almost free, you know, it's basically just a handling charge.
And they just come out of goodwill towards the seniors of the town. But,
Well, we could raise the non-resident to 30 and keep the seniors and put them at 15 and make it a 50% discount.
I mean,
I think that is goodwill, 15.
keep it on.
It's normally, to Bruce's point, buffer shop,
So
you know?
Right.
raising the prices, we're probably going to lose a few permits. But then the higher
Offsets
cost
it.
offsets it by a lot because, you know, we're going to still sell a lot of permits that have the increased price. You know, non-resident, $50, that seems pretty fair.
No, I think non-resident and resident prices absolutely should go
I
up.
think it's $50 just to get into the beach for the day, for non-resident, something like that. So $50 for the years.
Yeah, no, I agree with that totally.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say, Lizette, is we let the seniors off the hook last time.
All right.
Well, okay, so 2025 permits, as of, I believe, last month. So we have 151 residents and 134 seniors. That's
I didn't realize there
not,
were that many seniors.
it's almost.
Almost half,
It's close to 50/50.
Yeah, I didn't realize there was that many seniors, so.
And how many non-residents do you have?
22.
22.
22.
But those 22 generate $880. So, I mean,
Right, and it varies, you know, that, sometimes there's more.
I think some of those non-residents are hardcore.
Yeah, they are. I know the guys. All
Yeah.
the way down from
Mhm. Yeah.
Rochester and stuff.
I've seen
Yeah,
them.
so they're,
Uh,
raising them to 50 is not a problem.
And I think that if you look at the whole population of permit holders, some are hardcore and they're down there all the time, and some people go there on occasion.
Yeah.
But it's something they like to do.
Right.
And I don't think that, I want to be fair to seniors, I want to be fair to residents. I think that we, you know, when John talks about what the cost of buying clams at market or doing a relay and what we have to compensate, you know, the clam folks for, there's a cost associated with it. And at the same time, we do things which benefit everybody. We do the clam clinic and we'll get 200 or 300 people. We have free music, we have free food, we have free bags, we have free ice. So that it's not that we are, and we're trying to make this popular, and we try to make it intergenerational. I think if you look at the clam clinic, that's sort of the beauty of it, because you will see people of various different age groups all down there, all having a really good time.
so we could probably charge $20 just to get into the clinic.
We could
That's right.
easily.
I mean,
$10 for seniors, I bet we still get
every
people.
time we give out chowder, people always say, well, I'd like some chowder, how much is it? And when we say it's for free, then we spend hundreds of dollars on a steel band, which people really, really like. I think we do a good job. We offer a comprehensive program that benefits a lot of people.
And, you know, these costs are minimal. This is very inexpensive. And Fairfield Shellfish benefits from having a small town budget. A lot of the shellfish commissions don't have a town budget. They operate on their own, just off their permit sales. So if that was the case, these numbers would be a lot higher, you know,
Of course, yeah.
to be able to fund, you know, the amount of clams that we put in. So we're lucky with that. So we can offer this price. I think $10 is just, we gotta at least, you know,
All right.
cover the cost of selling the permit.
I think I think that covers, what our thoughts are. I
Yeah,
think
we're
that,
thinking about the fact that we did upgrade the permits to the new with the QR code, and it does take more cost per. It's not just a simple book of paper.
and we've done all we can through conservation to streamline the process to minimize the labor involved. But at the same time, we've incorporated, as you point out, QR codes. We're integrated with Parks and Rec at this point. So as you can see, or maybe not see here, but probably 60 or more percent of the permits we sell are sold online now. So it's much more efficient, and that's how people get their Parks and Rec beach passes and their dump passes and all those other things. I mean, gradually, we're moving in that direction. And I think it works pretty well.
Yeah. So the commission is gonna need to revisit this probably in the next 5 years. And if you wanna keep the numbers low, is you can reduce the amount of the harvest. We have a half a bushel a day. I think it's a maximum of a bushel a week or 2 bushel a week or something, but, you could always reduce it to a peck, a quarter bushel. And that way, you keep the prices down and not get wiped out so fast on the claims.
Half a bushel is a lot of clams.
A lot of clams.
It's a lot when.
I'll say it's-
And I think a lot of people take a lot of clams and don't realize how many, like, once they get home, like, what am I doing with all these clams?
A bushel is somewhere between 250 and 300 clams. So the half bushel is, it's
A lot of clams.
like 150, and if you get some smaller ones, 170. That's a lot of clams, yeah.
I don't think I've ever got that number of clams, John. And to me, from my point of view of doing it, was more of a recreational thing. And so to have a increase in rates of the magnitude you're mentioning, to me is worth it, because to me it's entertainment. I don't do it to feed my family. I do it as entertainment, and to me, I think an increase of what you're mentioning.
So it is a recreational bed, it's not a sustenance bed or anything like that. We do have a weekly limit. There were people who were sustaining something off of that bed for a while that we had issues with, in the past, and, but,
How do you enforce it? I'm just curious for something like that. I mean,
Not easily enforced because who will do it?
the problem is, we
System.
talked about, well, we're getting off track, but in the past, we did talk about having a warden, and that's not allowed. We're not allowed to really enforce anything. We have to call it DEP. Obviously, I've made people dump their clams back in the water that didn't have permits or were harvesting in a closed area, whatever. I think the other clammers sort of watch out for permits and stuff. I used to get a lot of calls. I don't really get them anymore. But I used to get calls, there's someone out there without a permit on. All right, I'll go down there. But it's been pretty good lately, I think. I think it's the same good group of clammers that are out there. We know when someone's over their limit because we get the calls. You haven't got any calls?
Nothing.
So, yeah, the clammers kind of police themselves. It's Fairfield. I mean,
It's an honor system.
everyone, I'm not gonna say everyone knows each other, but it's a small beach, like, you don't get too many people doing that down there.
And the people that we're offending, it's a small number of them, and we identify them and stop them.
Tim, you have anything to say?
No, I would just add that, the not-so-new process, each of those plastic cards costs about 27 cents. Lanyard is almost also negligible, so prior to the old dinosaur system of permits, they were labor-intensive, postage-intensive, material-intensive, so I think we've at least reduced the cost to almost as low as they can possibly go to produce the permit.
That's good.
I would say under $2. So we've increased the profit margin depending on the permit. But as far as efficiency, common sense, we're saving countless hours and aggravation on the other end outside of the financial part. So
And I
Going smooth.
think we streamlined it not only for your end, but for the permit holders' end, because they can simply go online and do it, and they don't have to drive down to town hall and, have cash and, so on and so forth. It's much easier just to, in fact, you can get your beach permit and you can get your shellfish permit, at the same time. You can go online and do that, so.
All right, so how it works after this is we vote in the next meeting.
Right.
So at our regular meeting at 7 o'clock, we bring it up and we go to a vote. So we're all basically in agreement on these changes.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
clams are out there.
Waiting for you.
Now you're on the commission,
Little
you didn't know
frostbiting.
exactly where every one of those clams is.
If only you know.
Yeah, you're
This is how we
gonna learn.
haze you.
Someone's gonna have a chance to learn where the
I'm
clams
new
are.
too, so.
Oh, good,
We'll-
okay.
we'll sit together.
We'll be hazed together.
Yes.
Just go down there and watch the boat drop
All
them.
right, so do we want to end this meeting, have a 10-minute break?
I make a move, we adjourn.
Second the meeting. Second the order. Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. All right, so our next meeting is in 12 minutes.
Can you start it now or no?
No.
No, public.
I have to do it from my desk because my computer's about to die. I thought it was charging all day, I guess it wasn't.
Real quick, these two applications, small docks, Beach Road, on the creek or,
Charging, yeah.
on the creek, right?
I didn't have time to actually
Well, unless
review
someone
them at
will
all.
have withdrawals.
One of them is, it's not even a dock.
Right.
One is just a bulkhead and some planting,
About that.
and the other one
Check my bank after
is a
that
dock.
Because of that.
So,
Sure.
If it's in the area of the other docks, and
yeah,
I've had some issues.
One of them sent me an email, or actually called the office and asked if it was gonna be on tonight. So I put both of them out there.
yeah.
whatever happened with that dredging thing that was going on for a while?
And not only that,
That
Kinda
why,
just
yeah,
fizzle out?
too.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
that-
be
that
involved
was
really
as much
anyway,
of a-
except through you guys,
Coming in.
but.
No, harbor management never.
So that's why you know it's funny.
And I think they probably just couldn't find the money.
Yeah, yeah,
Very
they're-
expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
But now I know
Pick
myself.
up a
Yes.
chunk of that money.
I do too.
No way.
And stuff, it's just.
It can be complicated and very expensive.
No,
for
I get it.
disposal.
I'm 60.
Extremely expensive,
Yeah.
because who knows what came out of that dump? Well, once
Well,
you
and
start
also
digging.
some- Bruce knows, because we're emailing back and forth, but there's some information missing on the regular meeting agenda because I had no staff. So I have rainfall data, but as far as.
Yeah, but it's on the other pages though, right?
It's worth the note.
Yeah,
I guess the budget wasn't there and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm just letting you know that
And the other thing, actually, and quite frankly.
Alex is back today though.
I took your rainfall stuff, I totaled it up, and it was like 1.65
Well,
inches.
that is also
So
though.
there
I
are
put that on there.
0 days closed.
Yeah, because it reopened November 7th. So we were closed for,
Flip side of that.
I think, the first week of November.
Yeah, I didn't,
I didn't back calculate from the old agenda,
We had a couple comments and
but minor.
and someone was like,
well, we can always just bring it up.
Relocating across the hall.
Yeah, I won't be at this
We'll miss
meeting.
you.
I have wet, I'm triple booked today.
I'll see you though.
I have wetlands at
I
7.
think what happens is,
Well, thank you
saying
for
some
coming.
I wanted to at least come to this one
Fine.
and
you know,
go to wetlands for the next one.
Appreciate your,
So where did the meeting get posted actually, that the public can find out about it? On the town's website?
Yeah.
Yes, I can. I know myself, I
Outside.
usually, you know. I
oh, yeah, but you've got
It has to go to the town
Betsy
clerk.
Brown that has to have it.
They went home if they had a restaurant or whatever.
So what people can do is sign up on the town's website to get notified when agendas come out.
That's what when there's-
But a lot of people don't do that.
Can people call in, listen, and stuff like that without us knowing it?
I know, I know.
Let 'em in.
But if
Or they would show up on the
they're
screen.
getting it,
Yeah.
They show up on the
No.
screen.
they
Even
do.
if you're on a phone, like Zoom has.
This isn't on the TV though, the Fair TV?
No.
No. That's about everything.
No, the only fair TV stuff is when they have the cameras. But the
Yeah.
Zoom, the
Oh, I thought
Zoom,
these cameras just
Maybe.
automatically threw it up there.
Hopefully that doesn't happen.
This will be on as soon as the meeting
If it does,
ends.
there may be changes.
Fair TV's program will put it on within 24
Oh,
hours.
so it plays later.
Yeah, so you'll have a recording of it that
Okay.
anyone could watch from online? But-
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
it's really
But
fun
maybe
too.
if you don't get
I'm gonna mention something in other
dozen, then maybe you feel that.
about this
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, yeah,
proposal thing.
it's tricky.
Do you and your husband go out and climb at all?
It's not private anymore.
We didn't get there this year. We went to the clam clinic, but,
Just,
just.
You got
busy.
goals and whatever for 2026?
They're all here.
Yeah, plan on
Grandkids,
dealing
and
with that.
calves, and some were boaters.
Yeah, that's it. You know, just.
And so we just.
you have something you want to do
Equestrian all my life, so I still have like.
out in the park, Mr.
Yeah.
Reggie.
have them?
She's in,
We don't have the authority to cede land to people. Sorry.
there's no property.
Yeah.
So she's up in Reading.
Thanks.
Thank you. You need something, Rob? You leave something,
My
huh?
water bottle here, I thought.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My daughter actually,
Commitment of time, I mean, I
it
can't
was,
imagine anything else.
yeah.
was sitting back
I'm not really doing much of that.
Good night, everybody.
I did it.
Good night.
Good to see you, Tim.
It goes smooth.
But I don't do much anymore. When I was younger, I was in my teens and twenties, I was riding for
Did you grow up in here?
Bedford.
Oh, okay, in New York.
Yeah, Bedford.
That's very nice town.
Got a lot of experience.
But my parents had a stable for me on the property and riding ring, and I
How big was their
Yeah, just
farm?
like
5 acres, so we had 5 horses.
collectors.
Boarders mainly, I had a couple, and then I
I was away at a
of course from the track, and bred my show mare and had a little stallion, but he was elsewhere being trained for a while, and so that, kind of fluctuates, but, and then, my youngest daughter rode on
I didn't respond. I didn't respond to it.
So,
Or anything, but I was like,
with me for 4
so I
years.
was like, is he watching?
In campus, went to school.
because he mentions the
But they have
LIU
all,
has a,
a lot of them, LIU's is huge.
what campus was she on?
2-hour.
The main campus is in Brooklyn, isn't it?
No, it's
So I
on
wrote
Long
back,
Island.
that's
It's
great.
the main
Okay, I
campus.
thought it was in Brooklyn, that's what.
Yeah,
Like
but,
Tessa gets.
so she competed, but they have almost all of
She's
the,
a teacher basically,
Yes.
so an outreach or whatever they call it.
and so what they do is the
Extension.
exact same as like
Yeah.
football.
So that's why I was curious. I was like,
Every weekend, or their,
we wouldn't have known he was on.
show, or the weight show, and they compete against the other colleges.
Because it came back and it said,
And yeah, like,
it said,
I know
return, and I
He's
go,
gonna work it out, but now that he's contacted
You
you,
don't
he told you
remember
to be
where
quiet.
your daughter with LIU was? I'm just curious.
I'm trying to remember, and I wish I had my phone, I
I grew
could.
up on Long
so that
Island.
you know.
It's in, Oakville, sound right?
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get myself in trouble.
I didn't,
I think.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, someone's been making a
Yes, he did.
proposal, been asking a lot of
I'm
questions.
happy about that.
and I think
Because they
There's
contacted
literally
more
like
than me. And,
50 to 70
so
balls.
that there's gonna be some kind of
Yeah,
restoration
I was
shellfish
thinking things like
proposal
that,
coming.
'cause that was like the old
Right. You never had any
historical.
contact?
Yeah, it is, yeah. I wish if I had my phone, I would.
I bet that's where it was.
I was just like,
You gotta stay on your
I
toes.
don't know why I'm spacing the name of it, but I think it was Brookville.
So interesting to hear that, because
enthusiasm.
He's trying to get,
Charter?
he's trying to get the upper.
even around here,
Yeah.
where you have the old
True.
barns and
Can't do that.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to take that.
time.
It's not worthwhile.
I mean, I did a production, I lived in Wellington, Florida, showing on the East Circuit.
And
Whether or not they want to start
They're
them.
all
do it
down
as
there
a-
now,
as
they
a
all left
volunteer.
about a year ago.
So where's Wellington? Is that in the center
Wellington
part of
is
the
Palm
state?
You might
Beach.
actually.
Yeah,
Palm Beach.
yeah, just
I wanted to make sure that there was an understanding
Palm
of
Beach, Palm Beach County.
The-
So that's where we're going. It's like a
So,
Palm Beach polo.
um,
Heard of that?
No, I mean,
Shares the campus.
I've heard of
Because in theory,
cattle and
which
ranch.
is nice oysters.
Oh, yeah.
Goated,
Yeah,
you know, wood.
not that far, not that far in. But yeah, so,
Right.
Oh, that's neat.
so we didn't get down there as much as we would like to, is what our,
Yeah.
then we're away,
They're interested in
travel.
I know with us, because we have both of our kids.
Now I'm fixing
Oh, but that didn't
a
happen.
salmon egg chiller
Oh.
for the teacher. So I
Like
know-
you.
Where do they go to school? Are they in elementary?
believe it's-
Yeah, two of my two granddaughters go to Riverfield,
Okay, yeah.
and my
true.
two grandsons go
I
to.
really didn't.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's awesome.
So I have one that's only.
Trying to get that they try to get your money.
Previous
It's
year.
like, really? You're gonna try to steal these people from me?
Well, my son
Get the
did.
Who was that?
connection.
My daughter,
really?
my daughter.
Samantha?
Oh, I know.
A, B, and C.
How old is
They're
your
No,
brother's
no,
one?
trying to
no.
expand,
My
so they're trying to get
have,
more coming in.
1,000.
You know,
I think my
Yeah,
young,
but John's doing it.
I don't want to be too captain.
one or two, you two, is that about?
No, he's 10 years old.
And
my son.
I don't know how to
My
play
son's
the
only
game.
about 40.
Oh, okay, I have a
Big,
few.
big thing.
Yeah.
So anyway.
High or did he go
That's why.
to-
It was only one, it was Fairfield High.
Yeah, and that's where my daughter
We had
went.
to leave the
He
committee.
got out in 2000.
What we
she goes,
want and what we
40,
don't.
so whenever he would
Yeah,
have.
money to work with stuff.
But yeah, we're all in agreement as far as
Got
that
this
goes.
stuff and then.
He was on the lacrosse
With
team.
them.
Oh, and
So
they
she
might
probably.
have dismissed, yeah.
Yeah, because there's only one school.
It's awesome. We could compete against, you know, all the other, we could compete
And
against Greenwich and.
academically, I told my son, I
I
said,
don't know. I don't have the details.
go.
Wow.
Yeah. I just, I don't know how to spell it. It's the same thing, because my brothers went there too, and then we, so they shadowed
Probably
and
dressed
loved
up for a
them.
shellfish.
They just decided they didn't want it, but then,
Huh?
you know, then the,
Oh, I'm going somewhere
yes.
after.
That's why my son went.
Somewhere fun it looks like.
AJCK.
Well, I have to go to Michael's first, because I forgot I had Board of Selectmen.
Just no K. I got the rest right.
Well, I didn't get the rest.
Oh, KRAJCI.
KRAJCI, and your first name is John.
Joe.
Joe?
Joe.
Oh, my gosh, sorry.
I was one letter off on a name like that. And
Thank
you didn't
you.
hear it.
All right, I'll see you soon. Well, I mean, I'll see you now.
John Helms.
Yes, yeah, oh my gosh. And then they split the schools, so some of mine went to the school, Record, Hollow, and the math.
Yeah. Who's John Helms?
Award, Ludlow and Prep. We couldn't compete anymore against New Canaan and Greenwich state-based.
Sure this is
So
not-
that's the only downside. They all went through, they did pass all five in college.
Is there someone on the phone line? Does anyone know what that says up there?
It is muted.
No, on that right screen.
John?
Okay.
Funny.
Do we know where John Hill?
Maybe he had logged in and he's gonna come back at 7.
It's a weird way to have it written, though.
Yeah. It does say it's report.
Oh, hi.
There he is.
Hey, John. We saw your name, but we didn't see your face.
Well, the meeting's slated to start at 7, so I figured I'd just not bother you until then.
Oh, good to see you.
How's everyone?
Good.
Good.
Are you involved with the applications, or are you just the public?
Applications, Masood and Hagan.
Okay. What do you think, Bruce? You want to move the agenda around since he's on, or just have him wait?
He's the,
Yeah, he's pretty far back.
with the Masouds. Okay.
All right, we're just going to go through the regular meeting,
John Hills is the,
I guess.
We're chatting over there. Okay.
I've got the
How have you
thing
been?
here.
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Bye, thanks.
I got it.
Turn the heat on.
Yes.
What's that?
Have you gotten any acceptances?
Not yet. He's put out some.
I was just trying to find is my
He's applied for
actual
a
agenda.
online. So it's Bridgeport Hospital. So we're gonna kind of see what all those, it's still pending.
My
So
agenda.
if you
Oh,
get
right
that,
now, got it,
that'd
okay.
be awesome, because he's gonna
It's a
close
single
and then
page of
we
stuff.
can get
All right, we're going to start the meeting, guys.
He said, I'm not gonna stop.
Everyone ready to go? All right, welcome to the Town of Fairfield Shellfish Commission meeting, December 10th, 2025. The call to order, we do have a quorum present. John Short, Bruce Kiefner, Hugh Stein, Lizette Enhofer, Cindy Wakeman, Kendra Wingate, and Joe Tracy. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Everyone is here tonight. Excellent. All right. So we're going to go to our approval of draft meeting minutes of November 12th, 2025. Does everyone have a chance to take a look at those? Any questions, comments, changes, corrections? I don't really see anything. What do you think? Good?
I move that we accept them.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion approved. We're going to move on to Bills and Communications Committee reports. Clam relay and planting. What I'll report is that we didn't get the relay done at the end of the year. So early in the season, who's going to be watching the water temperatures? Everyone watch the water temperatures. When you're getting close to 50 degrees, you'll schedule with the shellfish harvester, pick a day where the tide is correct and they're available, and you can try to get a relay in as early as possible. Now, when you do the relay, there's always a 2-week wait period before we can reopen. We have to take a meat sample and a water sample also and pass. So we don't like to get the relay too close to the clam clinic for the fear of the beds being closed during the clinic. It's happened before and we dealt with it. It worked out. But yeah, so if the water warms up, April, early May, end of April, early May, you want to get out there and get the relay done. Worst case scenario is the water doesn't warm up that fast, timing's not right, there's weather, then you're going to do market buys before the clinic. So that's anything else with clam relay and planting. I will walk the commission through it, mainly whoever the chair, vice chair, who was on that committee, on how to get all that done. So I'll take care of that.
Thank you.
Anything else on clam relay or planting? No? All right, water and habitat quality. Bruce, you want to handle that?
We have limited amount of information. We have got 1.65 inches of rain in November. I can't tell you, I don't think I know offhand how many days we were closed.
We reopened on the 7th.
Okay, so that then we were closed for 5 days and we were open for 25. And if we were open for 25, that means we were open year-to-date 296 days and closed for 38. That's my calculation.
It
Quickly,
sounded pretty good. I saw you doing the calculations. And we are open now, right?
we're open now, and we will. Oh, hot off the press.
It was in my folder. In the backup.
Awesome.
In November, it says we're not closed for any days Uh,
It wasn't tabulated. Pretty sure we're close, right?
So I think there may be a mistake.
Yeah.
So let's go with my
You were
numbers.
definitely closed at some point in November.
So we're gonna go with the Bruce's numbers, and that will be, well, that'll be tabulated correctly.
We'll confirm it
Yeah.
at the next meeting.
All right. Anything else on water and habitat quality? Permits and access, Lizette, can I handle that?
Sure. So to date, we've sold 151 resident passes, 134 senior, and 22 non-resident, for a total of $5,240. What do I have right here? So for the year, we're at 307. We ended 24 at 312. That's pretty close.
Okay.
Sorry, 151 residents. How many non?
134.
134,
And how many seniors?
22. The paper
That
in
should be
your-
right in the.
It's in your
Oh, it is,
folder.
okay.
That's in
Oh,
your
okay.
folder.
You have a paper.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So I know that Hugh, you don't really clam, right? Who else, who clams here?
I do.
How many people have their permits here?
100. Although we're actually going to
So-
use next year.
There is an amendment to that, those numbers, right, Bruce?
Yes, because it goes up by one.
So the permits issued and sold go up by one, because I was never recorded in the system, because my plastic card was printed up so I could bring it to the gathering of the Shellfish commissioners, and then I dropped off the $20 to Joanne, and it never went into the system, we figured out. Because Bruce says, you don't have a permit. I said, I have it, it's in my hand. I'm looking at it. I'm like, remember there
He
were
wasn't,
pictures
he wasn't
taken
on the
it?
master
Can we,
list.
so, do you know, can we
So-
buy our,
It's
we can't buy our permits for next year yet.
Not yet. Soon.
So we need to get that going, so people can have them if they want to.
It will, tonight we're voting and then it's in effect. All right,
Did the ability to offer them at the Parks and Rec increase the memberships at all?
not yet.
But it didn't at the end of the year.
So it's interesting, we don't really know because during COVID, we had a huge, that was our highest sales of permits. Because no one was doing anything, they wanted to get outside, they went clamming, they bought permits. And so the numbers have come down a little bit. So before COVID, I think we were selling something like 270. And then we started selling 420 and then it went down to 370, now it's at 307.
Yeah, in 2015, we were at 173.
So.
And then 2020, we were 345.
I think when I first started, we were 75 permits. The second year was like 93 permits. And then we started doing a real clam clinic, and it just started going up. We started putting clams in the water also. So we had a shutdown for a while on Sasko Beach. So no clams were getting put in and that.
This year?
No, this was
No,
years ago.
years ago.
Years ago.
Everything was shut down for a while,
Right.
for a number of years.
So it's hard to tell, but really, I think you gotta post about buying those permits like once a month on Facebook, on Instagram, and if you can get a blast out on some kind of email system, people who have bought permits in the past that haven't got theirs yet, or just send it out to everybody.
Well, once they,
I agree with that. People
Just
can
try to
send
get
information.
once we're good to
through
go
their
for
phone
next
today.
year, I can start posting on Facebook.
So now we have a lot of data on past permit holders and that are in a system versus the way it used to be, where it's all on paper, and then we'd have email lists, and then the email got changed. So there were 2 lists, and then there were also multiple conservation directors. So things weren't easy to keep track of at the time. But now that computers and that, the systems seem to work better. We have the info, and you can probably get that going again.
But there's still lines of people that go to the Parks and Rec to get their beach pass and to get their boat pass, their slip pass.
And they can get ours there,
They
so
should be getting the permits there.
They can.
They can.
Like, so like when my husband goes, like,
you
yeah,
can go
you
buy
can.
the permit there.
Your husband
Or
does.
they can go online and do the whole thing.
So if you go to Parks
Not
and
even
Rec,
go in.
they don't hand you the permit. they do the transaction, and then conservation mails a permit to you. But once you have the
can't go
paper,
online to get your boat slip. You have to line
No,
up
no,
outside.
understood, you gotta get us, that's for South Benson, but for all the beach passes
Right.
that people buy, which they're probably 400 slip passes, 450, something like that. But there are thousands of beach passes. So, and if you look at the numbers in terms of permit sales, probably about half of them or more are done online.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because when you go into that system and you're going to do your pass or whatever, like it's there. You can check off what you're going to do. Like, you get your golf pass or whatever, like it's there. And I think to some people they're there, it's in the system, and they may think, well, I didn't really use it. We did it those couple years, and the kids are grown, they've done whatever. But then hopefully this year with the clinics, we get new families. Some people are going to stay and keep doing it, and some are going to do it a couple years, and it's going to go by the wayside, and then you pick up new families.
That makes sense.
and on top of that, probably the biggest promotion, quite frankly, that we have is the clam clinic, because it's free, has lots of other activities, music and chowder, and we provide the rakes, we provide the bags, we provide the ice, and we even have prizes on top of that. So and we've got the QR codes there so that people can readily get permits. So they say, well, this is really, like Lizette's saying, this is really fun. We like doing this. It's not very expensive to get a permit, it's $20 or whatever. I'd like to do it. And so they sign up for it.
all right. And move on to Southport Beach reopening. So, Southport Beach reopening, nothing's happening with it right now. I think that should probably be taken off of our agenda for the future. And you might want to look in, so I know we have water and habitat quality. If you wanted to do like a water data part of that, where when we get information, we really need to clean up Mill River, not we, but in order for Southport Beach to be reopened, the fecal coliform bacteria has to be removed. The sources have to be found in Mill River and remediated. By whatever it is. So I don't know if Southport Beach reopening is worth having on the agenda anymore. Right?
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, I think that we have not been doing water sampling there because we've done it many, many times and
I think
haven't gotten any positive
right.
results.
They basically told us to stop sampling because the results were not good.
And we were not able to, more importantly, well, by what we did, we could not find a correlation between heavy rain events or low rain events. It didn't seem to be
Right.
anything where we could do one thing or another. And we were sampling from 5 different locations, something like that, off of Southport Beach, all the way over to the creek, and then coming further north, so to speak.
So in the future, what I say is either you have Sound Study or Harbor Watch or one of these organizations, or even like that company I was talking about at the last meeting. It got back to me, by the way. But, professional company that goes out and does this sampling and finds the sources of the sewage in this case. And
Would the DEP be responsible for that?
so it's our responsibility, not the Shellfish Commission, but the towns, I think. DEP, no, they're not involved in it, really. So the Bureau of Aquaculture, yes. That's who, sets the standards and all that. So it's up to, you can talk about that in the future. As of now, there's basically no report, but if you want to put the water part of that in there down the
Yeah.
road.
Well,
And then the next meeting, we'll also need to remove Sean's name from the agenda and change it to Joe.
Yep.
And then my name will eventually come off this agenda too, you guys are gonna have to make some new
Committees.
committees. And you guys can discuss that. All right, commercial shellfish regulations. What I'd say about that is, you know, you're gonna have something coming up in the future that involves commercial shellfishing in a way, or there's gonna be a proposal coming possibly from an individual who's contacted me and wants to do restoration and start an oyster farm and this and that in Fairfield. I'm bringing it up because he's contacted other people on the commission and, other people in the state and that, so it's not a secret. But it'll come through this room. So you're going to want to probably start looking at what some other towns do with commercial shellfish regs. My feeling is we don't have the ground for commercial shellfishing here. We have a small strip in front of Jennings and Penfield going to the Penfield Reef, and then it cuts on an angle and only gives us a little bit of the beach in front of the beach houses on Fairfield Beach Road. Our biggest area goes across from Kenzie Point to the Westport line, but in there is our recreational shellfish bed, the blooms lots 919 and 920, and the other side just got all the sand from the dredging, and that's going to need 5 years to set into place.
Don't we also, if we make it commercial and then we want to do relays, we want to do relays from our area. We can't do a relay from somebody else's.
So the only way commercial shellfishing really could happen in Fairfield is a permit is issued, and it's like for a day, they go out for the day and they pay for their clams. They don't have a set piece of ground or anything like that.
Okay.
But yes, that's another reason is we need clams for our bed at Sasko. We need to put clams there once or twice a year. We used to do relays twice a year. We don't have a lot of ground that has good clams on it. So, we don't want a company coming in and taking the clams we're going to need for our bed over there, especially if you start selling more permits. Say you sell 500, now you got to do 2 relays and 2 market buys just to satisfy those permits. So, and then you're talking about more dollars there to do that. So you do want to protect certain areas. Next meeting, there might be some people here that could help you determine what areas those are, what we should do in that situation.
Okay.
Is there any kind of a map of those areas?
Oh, yeah. So there's a map online. If you go on to the Bureau of Agriculture's website, they have a GIS, and you can log into it, and it'll show you everything. It'll show you all the commercial lots. It'll show you the recreational beds. You can put as many layers as they have on it. Shows buoys, markers. It's a nice site. So yeah, it's interesting to look at, and you can see our beds pretty well on it. You can see where the 919 and 920 are.
Let's say this again.
It should be on the Bureau of Agriculture's website. You go to Connecticut,
Bureau
Bureau of Agriculture, and then go to Bureau of Agriculture, and then you should find it there.
Like that map.
Worst case scenario is you can't find it there.
You get the
it'll
map
be on
upstairs.
The Sea Grant website should have it also. Tessa would be able to give you the information on that at the gathering too. All right.
Please.
Anything else on commercial shellfish?
No, I think that covers it. I think
Okay.
oyster bed development.
Oyster bed development. Was it this past weekend, 2 weekends ago? We met down at Ash Creek, and we pulled out the spat collectors, broke off all the oysters, bagged them up. We ended up with 3 bags of oysters, but it's deceiving because those bags are big, and we could probably break them down into like 9 or 10 bags, because what happens is the oysters start to grow. So the water's still probably warm enough where they're still feeding a little bit, and they'll go dormant for the winter, but then before they come out of there and go into the upwellers or get planted, they'll start growing, and those bags will get a lot heavier and all that. So
That had to be 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, the 7th, right?
Yeah.
6th?
I know my kids are still home from college for
Okay.
Christmas.
And you did it the 23rd.
Thanksgiving.
It's 23rd.
Yeah,
23rd.
The 23rd is when you did it.
Oh,
yeah,
December.
23rd. So 3
No,
weeks.
you took them out the 23rd of November.
Oh, so it's been a while.
3 weeks, yeah.
Okay.
So interestingly enough, those oysters had grown significantly considering they were put in,
July.
How big were they?
they were about the size of a quarter.
I think it's the first time I've missed
They
it
were
in years,
definitely
yeah.
like that, right?
Yeah.
Some
Nice,
of
so there's
them.
some good
But it was
carpet.
funny because there were also some very small ones on there.
I mean, when we were doing the estuary programs with the kids, and we had a couple spat collectors out there, and these were not small oysters.
Yeah.
They were big. And
Oh.
considering that they were microscopic when they landed in early July, they've gotten big.
So on the oyster bed development, you guys have those oysters down there. I'm talking as if I'm not gonna be here, because I'm not gonna be here.
Any more?
But you'll be volunteering.
Not, the next meeting will be
You'll be
my last
volunteering.
one.
I'll be
Bruce
like-
will be handed the gavel in the
I'll be
next
like,
meeting.
I'll be like, John, help us.
Yeah. So, on the oyster bed development, you have to decide what you're gonna do on that. So there's a lot of things, and it's at a busy time of year when you're trying to get relays done, the clinic and all that. You know, Conservation Department knows how to put the shell in, they know where to put it in and all that. But you can't just tell them to do it, you probably have to get some volunteers together. So for a lot of years, I would get some volunteers, usually some high school kids that were had some hours or something, help shovel shell or handle buckets. I would go down, I'm not expecting everyone to haul buckets of shell or anything like that, but at least be there with conservation to ride on the boat. And, you know, if you can't physically do it, at least they will do it and you're there with, you know, also to
Who's
take.
going to coordinate the date for when
So-
that happens?
So normally, you know, the oysters spawn, it's just like the spat collectors. Oysters are gonna spawn by July 10th. That's the Connecticut date, you know, that aquaculture goes by, around that area. So you wanna get them in between the last 2 weeks of June and July 10th. So usually, those last 2 weeks, you know, it gets busy. So spat collectors, they're a lot of work. In the fact that you have to get them and prepare them and then coat them with cement and then bring them down, get them out in the water, you know, hammer the steel rods into the reef there, put the spat collectors on them, tie them off, and then they sit there. But you have to go monitor them every week or so because some of them in the beginning, they float up and they fall off and you gotta put them back on. They get covered in seaweed, fishing line, all that stuff. You know, and you get the oysters. Now, it's a great visual, it's a great thing to get people involved. That's the reason it's still getting done. Otherwise, you know, you can do it, you don't have to do as many as we used to do because we didn't have a source of oysters before. But, you know, we may be able to get oysters from the hatchery that will satisfy our downwellers or upwellers if we wanted to use that. So there's a lot of things, so you have to decide on oyster bed development of what you want to do. Definitely go with the shell, because we still have 500 bushels, or 200, 400 bushels of shell.
Do we need permits to
500
put down
bushel.
that shell?
So there is a permit, yeah, it started last year. And you fill out the permit, you send it into Deep and Dave Carey. And then he says where you can put the shell. Now, he let us put shell in Ash Creek last
Who's
year.
going to fill out that as I'm realizing that you're
I filled out all of them in the past, so it can be a combination of Bruce, the vice chair, the secretary. You could do it at your meeting. I used to just fill them out.
I don't think, number one, we're not doing it very often. And
It's a one-page permit. It's
yeah,
fairly
it's,
simple.
it's not very complicated. I think what's interesting about not the shell, but the spat collectors is that what we saw as a yield or spat on the spat collectors was very, very prolific. And interestingly, John was talking to some folks down in Greenwich who put out spat collectors, and their results were considerably different, right?
They caught one.
And
What?
so I
So
think
they
what's
borrowed 12 from our
indicative
stock collectors.
is that Ash Creek has, if you look at all of the oyster islands out there. There are a lot, there are hundreds of thousands of oysters
There might be in the
living there.
millions out there.
So when spawning time comes, there's a massive amount of spat in a relatively small area. And so the spat collectors are exposed to huge amounts of spat because, anybody who's seen the spat collectors now sees that
So
they're
when-
covered.
So when the oysters
They're not
also, when they
Partway,
spawn,
the only time that they're not covered is when we've bumped them
So
and
think about
broken
it.
stuff off. But
When the
there are a
oysters
lot of
spawn-
oysters out there.
when the oysters spawn, so I watched it at the hatchery, is once one oyster spawns, some kind of pheromone comes out and they all start spawning. So in a place like Ash Creek,
Oh, watch
you know,
out.
there's a lot of spat in that water, right? And a lot of it washes out or washes up the creek, but for 2 weeks it's floating
Very
around.
fertile area.
And it obviously stays in the area.
Very
And
funny.
sticks really well to those spat collectors. And then there's so much food in that water, they grow really well. So it's a great area for us. Still, there's some more restoration to be done there. But if you go in the back, it's just filling with oysters now. There's a little spot that someone wants done behind their house over in Ash Creek there that we can get access to. I'll let you know about that, with all the info. We'll get together on it. So you have to decide, and you decide before, during the spring, winter, or whatever, what you actually want to, what you want to accomplish. We're going to talk about that tonight too. But with that oyster bed development, because over the years, there's been a lot of people on the commission and, Cindy, Lizette, but we're all 10 years older now, and, we have Mike Harwood, Allison Savone, Ricky Ferrari, Tim Macklin, Todd Genke. We had a lot of people that were really interested in that and all got together and did all this stuff, but not everyone can do that, I had my own business at the time, so I could just go down there whenever. It made it easy. Now that I have an actual job, it's not as easy to do this as it was before. Before, if we had to do a relay or whatever,
We have to be
Still got on the boat.
recruiters. You have
as
to
long as I had
recruit.
my phone, I could run the business. So, so not everyone has the time like that, and other people had situations where they had free time too. So, you just have to decide what you want to do. But I would stick with planting of the shell because that's the best way to do any restoration, and then whatever you want with the spat collectors or the upwellers. We used to do spat on shell in bags down at Southport Harbor. We found out that wasn't as productive as the other methods, so we sort of cut that off. But down south, it works a lot better. Southport Harbor didn't have the amount of as much spat as was necessary. Some years we get really good coatings, and then other years nothing. All right, we're going to move on from that because we're spending a lot of time. We're going to go to communications. Bruce, Kendra?
Yes, on communications, we submitted our ad for the Spring Parks and Rec brochure, it was due on, deadline was December 1st. We, for obvious reasons, did not publish the permit fees because we didn't know what they were going to be and we couldn't take a chance. So we just simply put the QR code and this is how you get a permit. Really doesn't make any difference.
Can I ask you, did you make the proof for the one with the fees in it or not?
No,
Okay.
no. So I edited the,
I think that's fine.
and then, but we did mention the Clam Clinic, which is, I believe, on June 20th.
I was going to say, because that magazine probably hasn't gone to print yet, when I published my magazine, I was able to get last minute Cabela's ads in, at midnight, and it was going to the publisher, it's going to the printer. So
Well,
it's
this was a little tricky this year. I mean, there's some new people at Parks and Rec who
Oh,
are
yeah.
handling this, so.
yeah, just
But they were very, very, very firm. December 1st is a hard deadline, period. And it was a little tricky because it was a Monday after Thanksgiving, and they were closed on Thursday, they were closed on Friday, they were closed Saturday, Sunday. So anyway, but that's taken care of.
the true deadline is when the graphic designer stops answering the phone. And it's over, it goes to print.
Bruce, is this the community service brochure? Because I know there's been that combination where they combine the senior center with the rec stuff.
Parks and Rec.
And so this is the community service brochure you're talking about?
Well, it's that brochure that they publish quarterly, I guess. I don't
No,
know.
I'm just saying, because the reason why I think they may have a deadline is because they combined, there used to be a separate one for the senior center and a separate one for Parks and Rec, and they combined them into one community service.
Parks and Rec simply says, they set the deadline because they're the one that coordinate it and publish it. And so if you want to get something in there, whether or not it's the senior center or whether or not it's
Yeah,
Shellfish,
they have them out there.
this is our deadline,
Yeah,
because
they're not-
otherwise,
The door and the wall.
Oh, I know, but I think that's why they may be more steadfast on the deadline, because they have the two things combined now.
so.
So when's the next edition that we can get the pricing into?
So,
Bottom line.
Well, I'm not terribly concerned about publishing the cost of a permit. It's not, do you want a permit? And I don't consider 15 or, $20, whatever.
It
as
may
a-
be better that it's not there, because they're gonna see the QR code, they're gonna go
is in
online.
the-
Oh,
So
the
it's
QR
gonna bring them right to the site when they look for the
The QR
price
code
and
is
then buy the
there,
permit.
and there's a link too. It says,
Right.
Yeah, we'll see
So
more.
once they go there to see the price, then they just say, oh, that's so cheap, I'm gonna buy one.
But we're gonna go up this year, right?
yeah, but
Yeah, but it's still so cheap that.
Yeah.
And by the time they see it, if they go on the site, the prices are gonna be up. It's gonna be the increase.
they'll see on the town site, not on the ad, because the ad doesn't happen to cover.
Yeah, so back to it, that comes out, that's the winter issue,
That's
the
a spring issue.
Spring issue.
Winter issue is
And
in your
spring, is it
hands.
spring, summer?
I don't know. They're calling it spring.
Spring, summer, and then there's fall, winter, okay. All right, I wanna say something quick before you go. No more AI.
AI?
Those pictures of the clothing and that's not
Oh.
ours.
Yeah, those are photographs that you gave me from your trunk. T-shirts and
No,
that.
they're not, they're totally some other picture.
The T-shirt?
Well,
Picture
what-
of hats.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Oh, I'm talking, so,
I didn't bring my phone, but
yeah, so you posted something and it put a picture of some hats and T-shirts that aren't ours.
on the holiday,
Wait, Instagram?
on the Instagram,
Instagram.
on the holiday bundle, get your permits and hats and tees for Christmas gifts?
Let me see if I can find it. But I'm just saying, is,
Yeah,
don't,
no,
because people are gonna ask, they're gonna want that and we don't have it.
those are the
And-
photos that I was given.
They 100% are. It's an AI picture.
I think also that people, they're going to buy permits in December. They're thinking they're getting permits for next year, and those aren't available yet.
Where is that picture?
It's on Instagram.
So I think really we're not advertising anything to buy a permit.
Yes, these are the
With 3
pictures
weeks
that
left.
I gave you posted before, but a new one came up. And it wasn't our stuff. Oh, yeah, that's not it, yeah. So that there.
Oh, maybe,
This is not
yeah.
that's not ours.
So what I don't want is like people
Yeah,
saying,
no,
oh,
I
you,
agree.
this is false advertising. I wanted that shirt,
Yeah.
even though our shirts are better, but just
Oh, I
be
wonder if
careful.
it- Yeah, okay.
with all the,
Yeah.
whatever you
Because
post,
the
anything,
hats were,
just try not to use AI,
yeah, okay.
all right? So go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. I was gonna say, we have nearly 900 followers now on Instagram,
Okay,
and consistently have 1.3, 1.4 monthly viewers.
Okay.
So, and I also post on the Moms of
Yeah.
Fairfield as well.
yeah, that's good. On the Instagram stuff, is that throughout the country, the world, or is it like a local, we don't know, right?
Yeah, it's whomever follows us.
Whoever, okay. So
Yeah,
could just
so
be
they
someone that
need to
likes something
follow
you
us.
posted and starts following.
Exactly, yeah. So it grows slowly, but I just keep,
Now,
trying and trying. to
What about
get us out
Facebook?
there. I don't have the login for that. I need to get that. Who do I get that from?
I don't know, I know I get access, I have no idea how I got it.
So I don't
I
know
need the
I
because
mean, I have it,
I
I
mean,
can get on it, but I didn't have, I
when
think,
my account got stolen, I lost
Yeah,
all
I don't
that.
have the password.
So, all we, isn't it, how can we change the password with an email, right?
Just
I
say
can
you
get
lost
into
your
it.
password and then you can reset it.
Right.
Like, I can get into
So I'm
it.
wondering if the
So,
email that's associated with that account could be the person who set it up years ago.
Yeah.
Allison Savona. So,
Maybe.
call her and ask her?
yeah, I can call
Do
her
you
and
have
ask
her
her.
email?
Okay.
So enter the email and say lost your password.
Oh, yeah, that's right, I do have her email, yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it would be associated with that email address.
So we could probably do that, all right. Yeah, because, you know,
I mean, all different kinds of stuff comes up.
I see
on the-
both of them,
on
but
stage.
really,
All
if
different-
Yeah, I
I'm
don't-
scrolling, I just go on Facebook.
I don't have, I don't have the login for that, but I'm happy to do
Yeah.
both.
I just look at Facebook.
It share,
My kids
it'll, I
look
can
at
share it
Instagram.
automatically. I just can't get on it.
Okay. Well,
And then there's TikTok and Snapchat.
Oh
and
my
all-
gosh, what's the new Threads? Oh my gosh.
Threads is the new
It
one
just
now.
keeps increasing and increasing. And I think that's everything then I mean, in the spring or whenever we're, I guess maybe soon, in 2026, I was thinking of asking the local elementary schools if they put a little ad in their newsletters. They do monthly newsletter blasts out just to get the permits and clam clinic and try to get some interest with the younger.
We used to use Peach
idea.
Jar,
Whatever it was.
Peach Jar, right?
Yeah.
And that would send out
Okay.
to all the schools, but we had to pay $25 a school or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
That
gonna
was a
ask them.
big chunk of our money towards the
I
clam
don't think
clinic.
parents really look at them.
Yeah,
to
we
be
don't,
honest.
we don't have any trouble getting people to the clam clinic.
No, so before you say that is, you've only been around for a few years. We did have years where, when I first started, no one went to that clinic. I was there with 12 people, I was there with 20 people.
My first clinic was like me, my husband, and like three
Yeah.
other people. Yeah.
So, but we started to get the word out with
Yeah.
this Peach Jar system to the
Yeah.
schools. And we paid $25 a school, but it turned out to be worth it because after we did that, we had tons of people coming in. So now we don't need to do that. But if the newsletter thing is, or whatever it is
Yeah,
free.
it's free, yeah,
Then
I'm
put
just
it
gonna
on
ask
there.
if they'll do it, yeah.
100%.
And then, do we have a constant contact?
No,
Okay.
we do not.
Of email addresses?
I don't know.
Can I get a list of people who have bought permits or who have attended the
Yeah,
clam clinic?
We have a database of the 307 people who have permits.
Now, there's also, if you want to add to that database, there's lists of people in the past that have bought permits that may not have a permit now. That's up to you.
Well, I mean,
Just to encourage the permit purchase.
all of us have received, or almost all of us have received with the minutes a couple of meetings ago, you all received a printout of all the permit holders. You got it. You go back and look at it. I can forward it on to you, but
Okay.
it's there.
Does it have the email address, do you know?
Yes, it has the
Okay,
email.
that's perfect.
What are you gonna do with it?
I'm gonna compile, I'm gonna compile those emails and add them onto an email thread that whenever we have an event coming up or whenever we have a new time to purchase your permits or just, not too many, but
Right, if you want to do that with
here's the
current,
clam clinic, here's
there's
the relay.
current permit holders or
Yeah.
permit holders from the past.
Well, those are the best people to ask to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the kids also need community hours, so, I can
There's
contact.
certain
them.
I think
situations.
a lot of our events happen after the
Yeah.
kids have finished. Like those requirements have
There are
already been
some
met for the
things,
year.
and we have had kids help. Yes, a lot of times it just doesn't line up. But
Okay.
if you can get some kids together,
Yeah, I'll get some kids.
they have to be, 14, 15.
Right,
If they're too young, it just doesn't work out.
no,
It's,
yeah, I was thinking
you know,
high school, like.
Yeah, high school is great.
Hamilton.
Have you ever tried? the
Anything
Sea
else on
Scouts?
communications?
Sea Scallops?
The Sea Scouts,
Kids up that came
No,
down.
Oh,
no.
I haven't, that's a great
All right.
idea.
because I know the fellow who runs. the Sea
Excuse me,
Oh,
we're
that's
gonna
okay.
move on. Sea Scouts, they have insurance issues
Oh, really?
from the
Okay.
past. All right. Upwellers, no report other than, if you want to use them next year or in the future, Bruce will be in touch. But I can show whoever it is how to start it and all that, and, but we'll have to get a group together before
Right.
that. All right, reports from the Conservation Department. So the Shellfish Fund balance is currently unavailable. We already talked about our permits, our closure period. We do have our November rainfall total here of 1.65. No 24-hour events over an inch and a half. And our budget status is unchanged. Old business, proposed permit fees.
Do we want to go with the new business first for these guys?
Yes, yeah. You ready? John?
Bill?
Me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Permit fees?
Sorry for waking you up.
That's good.
We're going to skip the old business and go to you because you've been waiting patiently, so
Thank you.
let's get over to that.
So this is regarding the Masood bulkhead and planting restoration, is that correct?
Yes, yes.
All right, so could you just go over the project?
All right, thank you, number one, for, having me on tonight. Ms. Masood purchased the property recently. She owns the adjacent property along the creek. Full disclosure, I did the original permit for the dock installation several years back. As such, Ms. Masood reached out to me to, discuss the loss of wetland vegetation at the rear of the property. And I was able to basically tell her that, yes, it's not her imagination. There's a lot of slumping going on there and loss of Spartina. So she asked what could possibly be done to, arrest that. I had some discussions with Sue Jacobson at DEP, and I proposed the low sill bulkhead that you see on the plans, and asked if that was something that is eligible for authorization. And Sue was said yes, that's basically a living shoreline type of project, and her office would be willing to entertain that. So I developed the plans, and we went back and forth a little bit, just about kind of one of the questions was what best to backfill with in order to create a good planting medium. I originally proposed, taking some of the eroded soils at the face of the new bulkhead and placing those behind the wall, but they felt that the proposed medium that you see on the plans now was appropriate and adequate to allow for the propagation of the vegetation. So really, it's just trying to recreate, kind of what was there probably 20 years ago in terms of vegetative cover. We just don't want to lose any more of that. Obviously, it provides, in addition to some kind of habitat, it also provides some, protection for the dwelling there. And, it doesn't really raise the grade per se, but I mean, any wave energies that might be in the creek, would be dissipated. And obviously it does, it will act as a trap for anything coming off the property and flowing towards the creek. So that was really the thought process going on here.
Okay. Have you, you've obviously been to the site and walked the site and everything like that, right?
Oh, many times, yep.
Can you tell me if anywhere in that properties, are there any oysters there along the shore?
The only place that would be even suitable for oysters is at the downstream end where you see the basically there's some harder surfaces there.
What I'm asking is there any oysters now?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, and
You're talking about the rocks, John, where the rocks are on that end?
On
diagram.
rocks on which end? Sorry.
right side, I guess it is.
Oh, there are rocks on both sides.
Yeah, there's downstream and upstream. The upstream side is kind of the neighbor's property. That's, looks like some kind of armoring of their property. On the downstream side, that's more historical fill, pardon, than anything else. It could be suitable for, oyster, but currently there's none in there. There's rib mussels and things like that.
So if there's going to be work going on down there, the Shellfish Commission does have, we have a lot of shell.
Right?
And if there's any areas that would be suitable for oyster restoration,
I don't know that the substrate beyond the proposed location of the sheeting would be suitable for that. Yeah, it's pretty soft.
that's why we put down the shell.
Yeah.
Oysters start to grow on it and
Right.
start to build up a little bit. Probably want to take a look at it and just see. If it's not suitable, it's not suitable.
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean,
Get something in there.
I understand, your desire to, utilize your shell.
Well, I mean,
Just to help propagate the biomass. It's a good area.
if you look at Ash Creek, John, which is obviously it's totally separate property. but
Right.
That's mud. And.
Oh, you have a good crust there, though. That's the thing in Ash
But
Creek. I
there's a
mean,
huge- we put a lot of shell there. If you look south of the Tide Mill building, downstream for the on Harbor Road, it's all mud there. But where the oyster shell is, it's probably a foot deep of oyster. So the oysters, if you put the shell there, the oysters will come.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's understood. I wouldn't want you to place shell and just lose it under, an overburden of silt. It almost seems, in my experience, it would almost seem that the opposite bank of, the creek is more suitable. It's harder. There's more sand. There's more gravel over there as a result of the, the original dike construction.
I understand what you're saying. I was just thinking maybe we could take advantage of
I mean,
construction.
I don't think that there's any objection on anybody's part. If let's put it this way, if the substrate proves suitable in your estimation for the placement of shell, I don't think Ms. Masood would have a problem with that whatsoever.
What time of year would you plan on doing this?
Well, it's this is kind of driven by the DEP permitting, obviously. But given the type of construction and the barge borne construction that we're anticipating, it would probably be in the winter.
Okay.
What's the
fine.
status with Deep right now? Have you applied for a permit?
Well, I'm before you because in order to apply, submit the application to DEP, I need, consultation forms from you and from Bureau of Agriculture.
Did you say barge?
Yeah.
And that part of the creek could be able to get that barge back there and keep it floating, or?
Oh, yeah.
I know if there was an issue with sand in that creek, in the mouth of the creek.
Oh, in the mouth of the creek, definitely. No, you have to come in on a high tide.
So they'll come in on a high.
Yeah,
And
come in on a high tide. That's the only way you can get in there. Get up there and then spud down. That's not the issue. So obviously, in order to keep the barge in water, being able to move in and out with the tide at that location, you're going to be, in a situation where there's going to be, some navigational impacts. Boats can still get by, but you'd rather do that February, March instead of, June and July. You know what I'm saying?
Will this be sheet pile bulkhead?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, the plan looks good. Going to do the restoration. Anyone else have anything to say on this?
Will the barge be there all day and night, or for how long?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just
Oh,
stay.
yeah, no, you mobilize in, you do the work, and then you mobilize out.
The barge will come, stay there until the job's done. And-
So is it sitting on the,
Well, the barge is going to be floating, right? Because you're going to be at mean low water, somewhere around 3 foot.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be, you have reach of the crane that can reach out and you don't need to be right up along the
Right.
line of the sheet piling, obviously. In fact, you want some distance away from, yeah.
The barge probably only draws a couple of feet, if that, right?
They'll have to remove the ramp and floating dock and the pilings that are there now in order to, have the full access. And then put it back when they're done.
All right.
Can I ask one question, which will probably seem obvious to most people? Why are they open to this?
Who are they?
The property owner.
As I said before, they're losing land. I mean, it's.
They're putting
you
it
can't-
above.
The original discussion with the property owner was, I want to build a wall. And I'm like, you can't. And they're like, why not? I said, your house was built post 1995. And they're like, what does that mean? I said, Department of Energy and Environmental Protection won't allow for a structural erosion control structure for a dwelling that is post 1995. Post 1995, you're supposed to anticipate things like this. You're supposed to anticipate loss of, you're not supposed to rely on a wall or a structure to protect you from erosion. So at that time the house was built, there was much more, there was a much greater amount of wetland vegetation there. Obviously, in the time since then, it's eroded. And so I explained to the owner that, stabilizing the vegetation, basically reestablishing the wetlands that were there was their best avenue for something that would be eligible for authorization from the state.
So right now, the bulkhead, it looks like, it's not gonna be above the water line then.
No, you need it to, you can't, starve the plants for water.
Right.
You need to have that regular overtopping in order to have the water come in there and provide, the salt water that those plants need to survive.
I don't see much problem with it. I don't think the homeowner isn't gaining any land from it. They're just stabilizing the land they have. And their house is fairly close to the water, so there's dock ends there too. I think it's a win altogether because they're going to be doing that restoration. So, anyone else have any comments on that?
No,
All right. Now you have another application in.
no, that's.
Mr. Hagan up the creek.
Yes.
Right.
All right, so you want to go over this one?
Right, exactly. So Mr. Hagan contacted me, and he uses kayaks. He and his wife like to kayak. And he said, what's the best way for us to access that? I said, well, you can wait for the tide to come in, or, you can just walk through the wetlands and go down to the, whatever you can do. He said, well, we currently actually do walk through the wetlands. And I said, okay. I said, what is your problem with doing that? He said, we're basically killing the wetlands, number one. And number two, the substrate, when you get to the limit of vegetation, obviously is soft, and, they have had difficulties extricating themselves from the mud. So therefore, the proposal is a very light construction pier there, on helicals, because that's not a place you can get barges into. So, basically a helical pile, supported pier, a ramp, and the holding the floating dock in place, and then the floating dock would have skids on it to keep its weight from, resting fully on the substrate.
Okay.
And as you can see, the dock also has a shelf there for
Right, it's
to
a floating
accommodate
dock.
the
So
launching
it's-
of the kayaks.
And if the dock ever had to be removed, the floating portion and the angled ramp could come
Yeah,
off.
those can be removed, yes.
Okay. How far, I'm looking at this, I don't really see a good map. Give me an idea how far,
I guess the
portion of
frame
the
of
creek.
reference is across the way is the town's
Bill pile area?
yeah, exactly, the waste treatment, the waste plant there.
Right, so it's pretty far back. So- And this
Yes.
will dock is light construction,
Yep.
no boats with motors or anything like that, right?
No, the initial comment from Colin Clark at DEP is that they're fine with it, but they will put a restriction on any permit that they issue saying no vessels can be berthed at the dock. And Mr. Hagan's fine with that.
All right, we're in agreement with, that's what we would want also.
Right, yeah.
Um,
It doesn't make sense to do so there.
Is
Okay.
this, John, does this fall into the 440?
No, 440, number one, it's longer than that, from the mean high water. Number two, a while back, a couple years back, the 440 eligibility got changed so that previously you could put something like a piling or a support in the
Yeah.
vegetated area, within the footprint of the Spartina. But, they went back and they looked at that and they said, no, nothing can go in a vegetated area under a 440. So this will be a structures and tidal wetlands permit application.
Okay.
All right. This one I might want to just take a look at. It's hard to get a visual, but as for your drawings and everything, they look fine. I just want to see it. What our worry is I look at the picture, the overhead, and I don't see any docks coming off of any of the other houses.
No, I mean, there's docks. If you go further upstream, there's sections where the town previously constructed timber bulkheads. And a few of those properties have either davits or docks right adjacent to the bulkhead. So that, that's further upstream. And then further downstream from here is where you run into like the first pier ramp and floating dock type of construction.
Right. Because it starts to get to be a little bit, I know it's where the old dump was and all that, but
Right.
a little of a wild area back there. Just don't want to start a trend of everyone putting one of these docks in.
Understandably. I mean, I told Mr. Hagan as much. I said, you're in an area that isn't well populated with docks. I said, there are docks in similar similar vegetated areas. But I said, just be aware that that's going to be scrutinized. So, I mean, I don't want you guys to do anything that you're not comfortable with.
Yeah, I'd say maybe we'll go take a look at it.
And these are helixes, not driven piles as well.
Exactly. No, we can't get machinery in there other than something very light. The contractor I talked to said generally what he does is he'll probably actually just use a post hole digger and then, set the helixes in following that and then backfill it. And that, usually is sufficient to take up enough tension on the helix itself.
They'll dig a hole for the helix, they won't screw them in?
They'll do a pilot hole for the helix. They won't do,
I get you.
kind of like, when you're drilling something and,
I get you.
yeah.
57 feet total, so doesn't really reach out too far. I say we probably want to take a look at it. And then, obviously, same thing with construction. Well, this one, I mean, what's construction on a project like this?
In terms of methodology?
Time frame.
Yeah, that would probably be a winter job as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Because, if nothing else, one of the things you want to avoid is going out there when the vegetation is active, obviously. I'm sure natural diversity database is going to, not want any disturbance of anything going on during, nesting seasons and whatnot.
Right.
And there's also the question of the terrapins is, that's always a concern, when you're doing something in this area.
Yeah.
And most of this will be done shoreward, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing you're probably going to do waterward is probably deliver the floating dock to it by a small workboat, like a Boston whaler even,
Yeah.
on a high tide.
You've seen the site multiple times, or?
Yeah.
How did it look back there? Same thing, kind of muddy, right?
Well vegetated. but, it gives way to that trough of, basically a muddy, thalweg that, runs up, continues upstream, and then it goes downstream, kind of runs west, then kind of cuts, you know, I guess not south, first it goes south and then cuts west and then kind of circles around and then, feeds back into the main area where the dike on the northern side is.
Well, my feeling is if they're dragging their kayaks across the marshland now, eventually that becomes a trail, then it washes out, it becomes a rut, and then you gotta walk next to it, and then that falls apart, and then the water is in their backyard.
Yeah.
And we've lost everything. So, yeah, my only concern is that there's no other docks right in the general area. But I wanted to see how far away they are and if this is gonna actually impact anything. Anyone have anything else on this? All right. So, I'll take a look at that. I know we had a really good low tide, today, so if I can swing by there tomorrow, I'll just take a peek and, I'll talk to Bruce if you wanna meet, whoever, and then I'll talk to Tim Bishop and, we'll move on this, okay?
Very good. Well, take your time and, any questions, please feel free to get back to me.
John,
Okay.
thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank
All right,
you.
well, thank you all. Have a good holiday and I'll wait to hear from you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good night.
Good night.
All right. So everyone, hold on, please take a look, do your research.
It was a good call. I'm worried about that a little bit. I think it's big.
Yeah, the problem with docks is,
The birds and, I mean,
yes,
not just.
it's very hard to stop a dock. This might be a situation we can, but it usually just gets approved.
And then all the neighbors are gonna want one.
Yeah,
No, well, you have riparian rights.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
you know,
that's federal, that isn't
yeah.
local.
So everything pretty much gets approved, so we want to get whatever we can in there. If we can get anything, usually we ask for, the building to go on in the off-season. This doesn't affect much of our area at all. We have done some restoration further back in the creek, up by the old railroad bridge. We put shell and oysters in there and they grew fine. So, yeah, the first one seems like that's a real, that's a that's a benefit to the town. The second one, I'm not so sure on, but, take a look and see, what deep says.
Quick question, when they bought that property, were they told they could build that there?
Were they told?
That's their property going out into the water, they have,
So there's rights that come with property that's on the water.
Riparian rights. So, I mean, they
I was
can,
gonna ask you what that meant.
well, if you own property that's abuts the water, you have rights for docks or water access. And, so that's an issue in Southport harbors. And the reason that, for instance, if you live on Fairfield Beach, adjacent to Jennings Beach, if you're kayaking or swimming off there, you're gonna see some buoys in the water.
Right.
Well, I can't put a buoy in the water there, but if I own a house that's on the water there, I can put a buoy there.
Yeah.
And,
So
mooring.
basically,
Right.
whenever this law it's from, I think, a few hundreds of years ago, right? And so people traveled by boat. I mean, to go from Manhattan to Fairfield or Southport, and you see a lot of those houses and that did have docks. at
And
one time.
this was a big issue, not so much here, but in Ash Creek. Much.
Oh, no, well, the big issue is Sasko Beach,
Right.
where there will be a dock coming out right onto our recreational shellfish pad. But there's no real way to stop it. We don't have the power and we don't have the money. These ones, they're probably not billionaires, but usually, they're gonna get their dock approved. It's hard to, unless Deep says no, which possibly that area, but,
When to John's point, when these people want something, they will go after the commissions, whether it's this or harbor management, relentlessly. I mean, they will do
So, and
FOIA
even if,
requests,
say we get it blocked, right?
and they will,
Put us in
they will
court,
hire a lawyer
and the town doesn't have the money for that.
at unlimited expense, $700 or $800 an hour, and they'll spend $150,000 in the commission.
We have our own lawyer now.
No,
Other
but
riparian rights.
So, yeah, so I think these two things.
it can get very messy. It happened in Greenwich that the homeowner wanted to build a dock that was across shellfish beds.
And they were able to block it.
And they
But
were
what
able
did
to
he
block
do?
it, but then he stopped and the dock does not connect to land, so the dock was built.
1 foot below the mean high water mark. So you can step off the dock. It's nice.
And so deep is doesn't show a lot of respect to local organizations, to harbor management commissions, to shellfish commissions, to conservation departments. We're sort of ancillary, but they will not necessarily ask your opinion, or if they do, they don't really care. So you have very little standing with them, unfortunately.
So we were lucky in the Sasko Beach project is that we did get a couple of things in there, which is no motorized craft and sailboats with no keel, right? To not damage our bed. So on these two here, I'm just gonna say, the Masood project is probably, no problem. This one, I
We can
think
go look at that.
we could probably look at it.
And that dock off of Kenzie Point may not ever be built.
Yeah, it may not be built. Every time I don't see it built, I'm like, maybe it'll never be
The
built.
house hasn't been built either, so.
Okay. Mixed up all these papers.
Okay,
All right. So we're gonna go back to old business. And our first thing in the old business is our proposed permit fees for 2026. We need to make a motion we're gonna vote on that, so we need to make a motion
make a motion.
to vote on the permit fees.
I'll make a motion to vote on the increase in permit fees for
Bruce made
2026.
the motion, Les seconds it, so we will now vote on our permit fees. Are all in favor of the new permit fees we discussed in our special meeting? $15 for senior residents, $25 for resident permits, and $50 for non-resident permits. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so our new proposed permit fees have been voted on and passed, so they will go into effect January 1st. Okay, now we're gonna go to election of officers. So at the last meeting, we gave that to Cindy and Hugh, if anyone was interested in running for office. Chairman, vice chair, secretary. Did anyone contact either of you?
Yes.
Okay. What did you got?
So we had, for chairman, Bruce, and for vice chairman, Joe.
Okay, no one for secretary? You are the secretary now?
Yes.
You want to stay as secretary? Does anyone else want to be secretary?
I would do secretary.
You're going to do secretary?
If Sydney would like to, I'll take over secretary.
You want out of
That's
the
fine.
secretary position?
Co-secretaries?
It's an important role in the commission.
You have the seal.
That's all I'm going to say on that. Okay, so how do we want to vote on this? Well, let's see, we got the three people, so no one's running against anyone, so we don't have to vote, do we? So we're going to put up the slate.
Make it
No,
official.
How did that happen?
Well, I'm going to put up the slate of commissions. So we're going to vote on Bruce for chairman, Joe for vice chair, and Lizette for secretary. Is everyone in favor? All right, so how do we have to make a motion for this, or that's it, we voted? So all are in favor
Done this
for
before.
Of the
that
proposed
slate
slate.
of that proposed slate, okay. So, do you have that?
I can't unmute, but yes, you have to do a motion.
Okay.
You can do all three at the same time.
Okay. Will someone make a motion to approve that slate of officers? Bruce Kiefner, chairman. Joe
Ricci.
Krejci, vice chair, and Lizette Anhofer, secretary.
I'll make a motion to approve the slate.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Aye. All right. So, starting in January, that will be the new slate of officers. All right?
I'm with you.
It's me halfway through the meeting. No. So next
Yeah,
meeting.
coming.
I'm coming.
Better.
So I'm gonna ask this.
He's allowed, since we don't have 7 commissioners, he is the 7th commissioner. He can stay on through January. So January is his grand finale.
So I've asked Bruce, and if this is okay with everyone, that Bruce will be the chairman. I just wanted to start the meeting. I'm gonna ask a few people to come to the meeting, and then I'll turn the gavel over to you. I turn the seat over to you, and that'll be it, and I'm gonna take this with me. No. It doesn't say chair. It doesn't say anything on it. Is that okay? That's fine?
That works.
All right, excellent. All right,
So
so we got our
11
new
and a half
officers.
years.
That's good. You're gonna figure some things out. A lot of stuff's gonna come to you that you didn't
We
know
where you
about.
live.
There's a lot of things that happen in Shellfish that nobody knows about, only the chairman. And the chairman signs off on it, or does this, that, or whatever it is, and, but there's an interesting scenario here with Bruce being the chairman. Is that the chairman always gets invited to the Pequot Yacht Club commissioning. But Bruce is a member of the Pequot Yacht Club. So it would only be right if Bruce let maybe the vice chair or someone else go to that. Whoever the next in line is, and if they're not available, the next in line, if they're not available, somebody. But I used to go, and my wife could never go because it was a weekend of an Irish dance thing or something like that. And so I'd bring one of the other commissioners, Deb Detmer, with me. Because it's a very good meal and it's a nice ceremony. And there's a lot of people to talk to and meet, and that's where I met the Sea Scouts. And we were set up to do some things with them, and then they started to bring up insurance. They're not, we're covered under certain things. I thought you were gonna say something.
No.
You wishing you were the vice chair right now, don't you?
Oh, so I can go to the yacht club?
I ate so much lobster that now they only serve shrimp. Okay. 2026 meeting calendar.
I just looked at it, take a copy of it.
You didn't get a copy of it? I think everyone got a copy, last month? Is it in your
No, we
folder?
didn't make it.
I remember seeing it sometime, I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
we
No,
have.
I just went through and printed out dates. So we have- Maybe they gave it to, I didn't know whether they were. or
Well, that's
not.
fine, Bruce printed it out. All right, everyone take a look at these meeting dates.
These are all the second Wednesday of the month.
Right. See if anyone has conflicts of interest, especially for your July and August meetings. If there's too many people that might not be here for vacation or whatever, we can change the date of the meeting. But we're voting on these dates right now, so.
So the only one that I would be in conflict with is July. Everything else looks just fine.
Okay.
I am with August.
Hmm.
I can't make August 12th.
Okay.
I most likely it will be August as well, and possibly July.
All right.
Those are I can be flexible on those.
So those months are always, this year we didn't have a quorum for one or two of those months, I think.
Yeah.
It happens in the summer, people are traveling, it's just, We do a lot of things in June and the beginning of July, but you only need
So
4
close to the
people. so-
4th, so.
Well, and the other aspect to it is, as well, is that these are all on Zoom.
Right.
So that we feel that by being together face to face, there is much more to be gained than there is being a face on a screen. So, but it's better to see you on the screen than not to see you at all. So if you're out of town or you're sick or something like that, as long as you can just hold your head up, we'd love to see you on the screen, and people can do it by phone.
Yeah.
And, because, it gives you an opportunity to hear what's going on and to hear your voice and your ideas and thoughts. And so it's important that we get maximum participation.
Let me ask
Some
you
of the
this.
stuff we're doing, Hugh and Kendra were involved in it, this estuary thing, we had hundreds of students, hundreds, over a 12-day period. There must have been, I'm guessing,
700.
was it 700?
Think about it, it's the
All the
whole
seventh
seventh grade.
all the seventh graders in the town of Fairfield.
So what's the graduating classes? Are they 400 each? So probably 800 kids. Plus, we had Bridgeport also, some Bridgeport kids.
But anyway,
All right.
so there are
So back to
a lot
the
of-
meeting.
So back to dates. So July has 5 Wednesdays. So since the 8th is so close to the holiday weekend, a lot of people may have vacations at that time. Could we just bump it to the 15th?
We have to vote on that now, so.
Oh, we'll just, if we change the date to the July 15th and we incorporate that into our schedule.
Yeah, it'll be in the schedule.
Yeah.
This is, gives
Does
people
that
a
make
break
sense
because
to
it's not as
everyone?
close to the holiday weekend. If
Yeah.
people are taking
better.
vacation that week. Because we still have, we're still, 4 weeks until the next meeting. Being that there are 5 Wednesdays in July.
I'm fine with that, because even if I'm away, I could still call in. I've been on vacation and called in before, so it's.
All right, so you got that, or you want to, July 15th, we're going to change, July 8th to July 15th. I mean, I'm not going to be at any of these, but none of the dates really
You are
look
gonna be at
like.
all, you're gonna be at all
Some
of
of
them
the, you have
sitting
to
over
look
there.
like sometimes,
We
the
have-
September meeting can fall on a Jewish holiday. We've changed it for that in the past, but
It looks okay,
it looks okay, all right.
I think.
All right, so you just want to change the one. Okay.
Right.
All right, so does someone want to make a motion to approve the 2026 meeting dates with a change to July from July 8th to July 15th?
I just did.
All right, let's hold on a second.
We did that?
I'm teasing.
Um,
You just said everything for us.
No, someone has to make a motion.
I
we have to vote on it.
know.
Make a motion to approve the amended schedule.
Joe makes a motion, Kendra seconds the motion, all in favor? Aye, motion approved. So these are your new meeting
yeah,
dates
There's
for
no conflict with the Jewish holidays
2026.
on the September.
And then can I just ask, is it easier for people to come a little earlier than 7 to 8?
So I was gonna mention that is, our meeting used to be at 7:30. We
Yeah.
changed it to 7. We changed it, I'm gonna tell you the truth, to hope we could catch Tim Bishop a lot more often, but he's busy, he lives in Ridgefield. Do you wanna go back to 7:30?
I was thinking earlier, I was thinking 6:30.
No, that's
Like
too
7:30
tough.
doesn't?
No.
Yeah. Especially in the summer and that, it gets too tough. Yeah, no, you might wanna go back to 7:30. Now, I mean, this is a long meeting,
This is a
but
long meeting, they're not usually
my
this long.
history has been to run a fairly short meeting, 45 minutes to an hour. Bruce might wanna run a longer meeting.
Well, it depends what we have to talk
So,
about.
7 o'clock seems like a good time.
Yep, we're cutting you off at 8.
All right, so we're gonna keep the time the same. New business, we're going back to new business. to discuss plans and goals for 2026. So I mentioned earlier about this proposal that's going to come your way. It'll probably come in 2026. It's something you're going to have to deal with. We talked about oyster bed development and that. Talked about communications. What else? What other kind of things would you like to see happen in 2026 with the Shellfish Commission? Obviously, you're going to be looking for another commissioner, but is there anything, anyone think of something different you might want to do?
I would like us to move forward looking for the possibility of the position of the alternate.
Right.
The
So,
alternates.
The alternates, let's
Or
see.
possibly junior
So
commissioners.
this was August of 25. August of 24, I went to the RTM looking for alternates. Presented to them. Many months later, I went back and stated my case why, and we had a committee vote, and it passed, and I haven't heard anything since. Did I ask Phil Pierce about that?
I'll check with Jen Carpenter.
John, yeah. The one question that was asked about that was, why don't you just reduce your commission to 5 with 2 alternates and make it 7? So 5-member commission with 2 alternates. That would be easier to make the quorum. We're having a problem with the quorum, that's why we're looking for alternates. What else for 2026? So communication-wise, you're gonna
Yeah,
get as much out there as you can. What about the newsletter? Can you do it?
sure.
Yeah?
Well,
Want to talk to the,
Yes.
do we want to add to the conservation's newsletter maybe? A couple things in there, or do we want to, do you see conservation's newsletter? It's very nice.
go look at it.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it, but maybe
Yeah,
they
I'll
would
ask
tell
them.
you, or
Okay.
give you the template or whatever it is,
Okay.
put together a newsletter. So why don't you take a look at theirs, and we'll revisit that for 2026. But I'm going to tell you is, I don't want, the world wants all the information to be correct. No AI,
Okay.
okay?
And pertinent to our
Go right to our
shellfishing
website.
situation,
Well,
not about
we
shellfishing like
have-
in Massachusetts, like what's
Before
happening
we
here.
publish up, we've got to review it, because if we put something out there that's wrong, we can't retract it. If we put information out that's wrong about closure procedures or something like that, there's no way to recover it. So you have to be blindingly accurate. And so
Monthly?
the best way to do that, I think, is to draft things and then have a couple of us review it, just as if I was writing it, and gonna have other people review it too, just to make sure that you didn't make spelling mistakes or edits
So
or.
I'm going to say quarterly at best, at most.
Okay.
2 pages, 3 pages, 4
Well,
pages.
I don't,
Yeah.
I looked at, if you go onto the website and look at, under documents or whatever, it has newsletters, and sometimes you don't need a lot, it's just, it was like almost 1 page, it was 2 columns, there were maybe a word game down at the bottom, and there was something on one side, it wasn't very, it was not long, but it was of some interest. It might have had a recipe in there or something like
Yeah,
that.
so we used to have a recipe in there. I think we'd have a little word search. We put together a shellfish word search. Deb Detmer did it. I'm wondering if, I think she's still around. I saw a post. If she's still around, maybe she would be willing to talk to you for.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to go to the library, so to speak, and look and see what's there. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Look at.
Oh, yeah,
what's
you
in
might
the
be able to go
library.
back and find her.
Oh, it's there.
It's there, okay.
It's-
I think I saw it on the web, right on the site.
Yeah. It's a huge amount of data in the archives that are very, very, very accessible. You can sit there with your phone or at home or whatever you want and get this stuff. But don't try to figure out on your own, because you can just use the old.
So like information-wise, like if the information's not correct, it's like a little example of when we used to have, the sign that you flip from open to closed, and we also had a message in the conservation office that you could call to see if it was open or closed, and then we would post it on Facebook also, and we'd send out an email. Well, The message, we weren't allowed to change it, the Shellfish Commission. So we could change the sign, we could change the Facebook, and the email would get sent out on the Monday, but people would call and say, well, I saw it on Facebook that it was closed, and I saw the email that it was closed, but I called and the message said it was open. And so I went clamming, you know. So any wrong information, someone is going to be like, they're going to take that wrong information and say, well, it says that Southport Beach was open, or you could take, you know, 3/4 of a bushel of clam or whatever it was in there. And, you know, what are you going to say to them?
So
You
we,
just want to get it correct.
so we standardize it now. We've got the QR code, and there's no more email, no more sign down at the beach. You just scan the QR code, and it brings you to a page that says open or closed.
So there's no, you
There's
know,
no, we don't have multiple people or methodologies.
right. So here's an idea I had about junior commissioner, of getting 1 or 2 junior commissioners would be someone who's 16 or older, high school age, not college or grown people. But that would make a commitment of like 6 months. They'd show up for 6 meetings. Depends on what time of year it is. If it's, you know, goes into the spring or whatever, they could help out with some of the things that we do. But it would just give them an opportunity to be part of a town function, a commission, and something they could put on their resume for college and that. But it also might generate interest from other kids, like, oh, I'd like to be that junior commissioner. And then parents hear about it, and all of a sudden there's a line of people, hopefully, you know. So are you interested in possibly
Yeah,
that?
I certainly think, based upon my exposure with the estuary kids, it was very interesting to see these groups of kids, and you could see some that were really intrigued by this, you know, and some didn't want to touch anything, and some people, you couldn't get them away. I mean, I remember one little girl had a hermit crab in her hand that she got out of the tank. And some other kid, some boy came up to her and said, I want to see the hermit crab. She said, no, this is my hermit crab, go get your own. I mean, so she was very possessive of it. I mean, after one of the sessions, I gave, the last one, I gave a shell, piece of shell, just a, you know, wasn't live, shell to one of the kids. I said, here, would you like this? And he said, oh, yeah. And he went to his t-shirt, he said, oh, look what I got. I mean, and it's that kind of thing where some of these kids are intrigued by this, and some of them aren't. But gosh, if we had several hundred kids there and we got 10, that would be a huge number.
So I'll put something together, I'll propose it at the next meeting. And then if you want to do it, you know, I think it would be great to get more exposure for what we do in that, and I don't know, it'd work out, I think it'd work out for everyone. And it would also be another, you know, keeping the Fairfield Shellfish Commission on the cutting edge. We usually do something, come up with something every year. Last year was a QR code, so.
Well, and I think that when you get the kids involved, it pulls in the parents. I've seen this in other organizations. You get the kids who are involved in choir, and it brings the parents and you know, this kind of stuff. So, you know, I think that it never hurts. And the Mill River wetlands, they're incorporated into curriculum. I mean, it's not a casual thing. It's part of the education system.
That's another thing you'll have to figure out in 2026 is how much time you can put in for the Mill River wetland that. Yeah, Bruce, you know, has a good point. You probably have to teach them a little bit about, you know, the things. If you split it up, I think, you know, one person a day, if everyone could do one day if possible, it can be handled. Now, I think they want me to come back next year, but I'm not on the Shellfish Commission.
Well, that doesn't
You're a
make any
volunteer.
So,
We,
You'd have to give me authorization to talk about what you do.
You can still volunteer.
John, they think that
Nothing
you're,
says you can't volunteer.
So, but that's
Everyone.
another thing you're gonna think about. You have a lot to, you know, in your plans as for goals and that is to, just get everything done.
Right.
Get the clams in the water. That's the biggest thing, this commission, what gives us, what makes everything work and great in our clam clinic and all this stuff is the fact that there's clams in the water. Before I came on the commission, they weren't putting clams in the water. They might have done a relay once, in the last 5 years before I got here. When I got here, we did that first relay.
Was open? Was Southport open when you came on?
No,
No.
Southport was
It was
not.
already closed.
but if we're doing,
So the clams are the key to everything. Put the clams in the water, the people buy the permits, and then the other stuff is like extra and easy. The clam part of it, you'll be fine with it.
so if we do, 2 relays and 1 market buy, that would be
That's a lot of clams. So you don't do the second relay unless you've gone up over 350 permits. You only need the 1 relay and 2 market buys.
Okay.
All right? If you start getting up above 350 permits, you're gonna have to get another relay. Relays are 2,500 each. That's $5,000 just in clams. You have the money. I know because we've done it before. So way back when I first started, we started putting clams in the water. We were getting the relays done for free. So I was doing 2 a year.
Is it relay? So how much does it cost us when we do a market buy?
Depending on what clams they are, we normally spend $1,000 or $1,500, and we get 30 something to 50 bags of clams.
Cheaper to do a market buy than a relay?
It's not cheaper. So it's not, no, the market buy is definitely more expensive. We only get about 6,000 to 9,000 clams on the market buys. On the
The
relay,
number of clams
we
you
get 30,000 to 30,000 plus. Because we're averaging probably 120 bushel on a good relay, 275 clams in a basket. We're putting out
A lot of
30,000
clams.
clams for $2,500. For $1,000, we're putting out something like 6,000.
Yeah, I think to your point, John, I think it's important that you get a really bountiful relay at the beginning of the season so that when people come there, there's something,
Well, the tough part is, in the beginning of the season, the ground is still hard. But we have an area that we pull all of our clams from, the same spot every time. And they're pretty heavy in there. So you'll still get them. So the first relay is usually like an 80 to 100 bushel relay, is about what you catch. Because the thing with the relay is, you leave at sunrise, right? You get on the boat, leaves from Stratford, comes all the way down to Fairfield. And then we're over by Sunken Island area, in that area there. And we start harvesting. So the boat, these guys want to be back there, 2:30, 3 o'clock, they got to watch it on the boat and all that stuff, get up real early in the morning the next day. So you can only harvest till about 12:30, and then you got to pull up and run over Sasko at high tide, because you can only dump the clams
at high tide.
within, an hour, half an hour each way in the high tide, yeah. So you go over there and then you dump the clams, and then you get the 45-minute or an hour ride back to Stratford. So in the spring, the ground's a little hard, clams are a little deeper, you might not catch as many, but you still catch plenty. And if you can get a relay later in the year, you really catch them then. So you might get 120 on them. It all depends on the day, all that stuff. If all the equipment works right, time we're out there and the whole dredge was wrapped up in conch pots, unmarked conch pots, we're out there. And the buoy broke off and they're all just laying out by Sunken Island, and they're all wrapped up in the thing. So things like that can happen.
John, are there written procedures on all of these things that you're talking about?
Did you write them down just now?
No.
No,
I've already talked to Bruce, and
we're
when
drafting,
I think I'll have to
Um,
spend a lot of time with Bruce too, because I.
Bruce is going to,
we're drafting up
Yeah.
sort of a procedural process, because there's some we have to work with Bureau of Agriculture and obviously,
So my plan is that I want to bring some people to the meeting next month, and you will introduce yourself to them, okay? And hopefully they will be the people who do our relays and provide us shell and all that stuff. So,
because we're using the same people for the relays.
yes, we've been using the same people, and we use them because the price is fair, 2,500, and for 5 or 6 years, they did them for free for us. And I would ask, and they would just do it, so.
And you have to close for 2 weeks after you do a relay, so there's,
So yeah, I think the real plans and goals will be getting in, making sure that you have these procedures in place and you learn them, and that is going to be a lot of learning going on. Everyone, other than Lizette and Cindy, you're new, and you're going to have another new person, so you're going to have to learn. And you two know a lot about a lot of the things, and you know the clinic. You guys know the clinic fine. That's a big deal, is getting that together. Bruce would be calling me about a lot of things on that too. But I think you guys can do it without my help on that, right?
well, and, I mean, a lot of this is just like the clam clinic. You have to look at the tide table and say, when are we gonna have a high tide? Between, say, 12 and 1,
Yeah, so you look at
something
your
like
tide
that.
table,
It can't be a 2 o'clock
and then,
tide, and it can't be an 11 o'clock tide.
since I'm gonna try to introduce you to the harvester and that, and you make the call, and you tell them, listen, we're looking to do a relay, this is our window. Usually you have, a day or two, usually 2 days. The state will give you a permit for 3 days in case there's weather, and, the tide might be a little later that day.
The tide moves
High
about
tide
an
moves
hour
to
a day.
So high tide, say it moves to 2 o'clock, and you have to just talk to the harvester, say, hey, we might have to stay out a little later, because this is the tide.
But if you got a nor'easter or something, if it's blowing.
Yeah, then it just gets canceled, and we try to do it 2 weeks later, that's all. When the tide is back.
Well, you're gonna phase out. You're not just gonna tap out at the same time. So as you phase out, you're going to download that information to us, key information. So that'd be fine. What month are you talking about for the relay?
Once the water hits 50, you want to start planning that relay. So you're going to watch water temperatures, whatever site you can figure out to get the real water temperature off of. Your best probably actually is trying to talk to a shellfisherman or something. They're always on the water and their GPS and that, or whatever, their sonar has their temperature. But once it hits around 50, it's going to be late April, you're going to hit 50. So you make the plan, you talk to your harvester, say, these are our dates we're thinking of.
We'll get them in May, so
And
they're there for June.
You don't want to do you're going to stay away from is the major holidays. They're not going to do a relay for you, or they'll sell you some market clams. But they're not going to do it when they need to have their boats out there actually turning a profit. So you want to stay away from doing relays before the holidays, like Memorial Day, July 4th, and Labor Day. So what we've done in the past for Labor Day, we've done a small market buy of like $1,000 of clams, just to get some more clams out there. And they'll usually provide those. You'll hear all about it next month. But they do it for us because we're Fairfield. I guess. I don't know. They work with us very well. And they'll probably keep them.
Well, learn by doing.
I don't know, they did it when I asked, and they're still doing it, so. Anything else on plan and goals for 2026? I said that I had some other, but I've already mentioned it, which is the proposal for shellfish restoration and possible commercial shellfish growing in Fairfield. It will be interesting.
When do we talk about that?
No, I just did, that's it. The proposal has to come in, so nothing's come in officially. I'm mentioning it at the meeting because there's been contacted myself and to Lizette, so I'll just say it. And so now I have to mention that. Because
I'm in favor of commercial shellfishing. I know most of you are probably not.
Well, the problem is the question is where?
So,
I mean, we don't.
Right.
The question is where, and then the other question is how, and then and you might
So-
also say why, because if we give somebody a permit to harvest a certain amount, it's strictly on an honor system, because we have zero way of going down there to check that that harvester took 5 bushels and not 15. I mean, and quite frankly, the revenue is negligible that you get.
the
out.
revenue is negligible unless you raise the pricing on that.
Oh, yeah.
There is an area, and I mean, when I first started on the commission, I put a huge proposal together, is the old Minot Smith ground that is, it's not marked on a map, there's no deed or anything, it's just a
Southport
legendary
Beach, yeah.
piece of ground, of turning that into a commercial shellfish bed. But it takes years, and the whole thing with the dredging material was to fill in some lower areas in there and eventually start bringing shell in there and turning that into a commercial bed. The thing with natural beds is you can't really lease the bottom, so you have to sell permits. It's just a very hard situation, other than selling like permits where someone comes in and takes a daily harvest. So it used to be in the past, with a commercial shellfish permit in Fairfield, you could take 13 bushels a day, right, of clams, of hard clams, right? So no commercial guy's gonna come to Fairfield for 13 bushels. It's just not worth driving. So no one really got permits. But years and years ago, they used to harvest oysters back in Ash Creek. Seed oyster, whatever it was never open for market. So they harvest seed oyster and probably sell that off or put it on their beds. Like I said, we have a thin strip off of Jennings and Penfield. You give that to commercial, you're gonna have commercial boats right up close to the beach in a boating area and that. And then on the other side is, off of Southport Beach out there, which is possible. We might want to get some data for when they did put we had commercial boats come in there and take as much as they could out of there before the dredge material was dropped in, so they wouldn't kill off everything. We could try to get some data on that to see how much was actually harvested. But we've done surveys in the past over there, and we really didn't get much. We got a lot of slipper shell and quarter deckers, they call them. All these slipper shells growing on each other. We got some oysters in the mix, we got some clams, but nothing worth like staying over there for more than 3 drops of the dredge. And then going back to the spot where we were before to get our clams.
I mean, given the fact that we want to keep one area open for our relays. In other words, if we're going to go out and harvest in our territory so that we can do relays to replenish our beds, we don't want to make that into a commercial area, because it'll be gone, it'll be empty.
Just like
So we have to have our garden, so to speak, so that we have a place to harvest. And if we had the Minot Smith, which is approximately off of Southport Beach in that general area, that might be something. But at the end of the day, are we doing it just because we're giving them, we want to give a nod to commercial shellfishermen, but what are we making? Maybe we're making $1,500 a year or something like this.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
not big money.
We're supposed to enhance opportunities for commercial and recreational shellfishermen. So we stock the beds, that's how we do it for the recreational. And we grow oysters and plant them and all that. For the
our
commercial
mission
end of it,
Is that our mission statement?
not our mission statement, but it's not on our MOU, but our, so
Sounds official.
as the commercial part of it, we cover that by having a big spawning population of oysters and clams, and outside of our grounds is a state natural bed and then the state commercial shellfish beds. So if we deplete ours too much, all that spat and that we don't get good sets, and to me, I feel it's more important to have our small bit of ground being unharvested, managed to an extent for our purposes, but recently, we talked about at the last meeting of a shell fisherman that had come to our meeting and wanted commercial permits, and I said to him at the meeting, I said, you're not gonna get a permit this year, we're just not giving it. And this commercial shell fisherman, then I was told by the state that, this shell fisherman says that you're the reason why he can't shellfish in Fairfield. And I said, that's 100% correct. And that shell fisherman was arrested this year and held on a $7,500 bond for harvesting illegally in Norwalk, possibly on the recreational shellfish beds. Was warned twice, still went back, did it again, and was arrested. Now, obviously, everyone's innocent until proven guilty, so, but this is a person that sat at our meeting for 6 months and begged us to get a permit here, and then was harvesting off the recreational beds in Norwalk. Was told, I don't know, the boat has a new GPS on it now. I don't know if it had a state GPS at the time, but so that was one of the people that was actually given permission to harvest off of Southport there. Another boat from H&H, shellfishing, was in Fairfield harvesting to get rid of the clams for the dredging, and ended up with his boat on top of Sunken Island. Now, luckily the boat sat perfectly upright, but if that boat had tipped over and all that diesel came out on dry Sunken Island, then we have a natural disaster out there. And, it's just with a tiny little bit of commercial harvest in Fairfield, we've had
And that's,
we've had a major incident, and who knows, I almost feel like asking the state for the GPS data on that boat, because he was in Fairfield grounds for a little while. Did that boat go anywhere else in Fairfield that we don't know about?
He's
Probably not, so.
inside Bell 22. I mean, you have to be beyond
There's a
foolish
reason
not
you-
to know you
but-
don't
but
go there.
Here's the thing is, there's a reason the boat was up in there. They're either scouting or, maybe they were going to, that's an area where we harvest our clams over there. There's a lot of clams on the other side of Sunken Island.
Well, if the
We don't
revenues
know.
aren't there, it's not worth going down that slippery slope.
So it's
I think our
The
little spot
bottom
is too
line-
fragile.
Bottom line is, some of these small guys, I mean, the two guys that were here, these guys are living hand to mouth. I mean, they are, they're
Probably.
far, 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 far from prosperous. And
It's-
the fact that they got in trouble got warned twice and then got caught again, there's just,
Another thing is, I've been told by some of the commercial guys and some of the bigger companies that you're doing the right thing in Fairfield. Some of these other towns have been cleaned out of their oysters.
You know that,
And
no doubt.
it's like, you're the only town that's not allowing anyone to come in and just wipe you out.
It's not sustainable.
It'll be up to you in the future what you want to do. I don't think, if you look, you need to look at the maps, you.
Yeah.
Go on that, and it'll show our natural bed, it'll show the line. And Fairfield is a different town. A lot of these other towns have islands, they have big bays where, people.
much
can
better
go.
estuaries.
But we don't have that. We have beautiful beaches. So,
But
Yeah,
we
take a
do
look
have
at that
Ash
map
Creek,
and
which
see
is
what you
pretty
think.
amazing.
All right,
We got those beds last week.
informational. Anyone got any good informational stuff?
I think we,
I gotta write it down because every month I see things and I wanna tell you. and I forget. There's another thing you gotta do in 2026 that comes up. You were involved. At some point, you're gonna have to collect 33 oysters for disease sampling. Bruce will be contacted about that. The state of the oyster population at Sasko is thin, so sometimes it takes a little while to find 30-something
We'll get
oysters.
Eric to do that too. Eric would gladly go down and do that for us.
Need live ones, live ones.
A hint is, if you wanna find the oysters,
they gotta be 33,
put some oysters in the jetty
3
that we
inches.
drew, and let those grow out, because they do want the ones that we are growing, they consider us a grower, because we take oysters from Ash Creek and bring them to other places. So some of those oysters, you want to put them in the jetty, let them grow out in there, because that's the easiest place to find them. They don't go anywhere. Put them anywhere else, they
In
they
the
go
channel
places.
there on the way into the marina, they're all, when the tide is low,
Oh,
you
yeah.
see all the oysters.
Tons of oysters.
Mhm.
Any other informational, any other?
No.
No.
I thought we had public here, I didn't realize he was on the permit thing. We don't even get public for our special meetings. Who's gonna end it?
Motion to
Joe.
adjourn.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved, meeting adjourned.